of users are using our system. And that's something extremely important for us as well, as a whole. Now, obviously, it comes as well with some new behaviors, and that's something that we have analyzed in the past months. The buying behavior has changed as well. Probably because we switched the logic that we had. We used to have an initial discount that was staying forever, and now we have year one, year two pricing. So what we see is that the amount of users that we sell to start with is a bit lower than what we had last year, meaning that, okay, next year is also expecting to be even better, simply because the normal size that we had, the average size that we're selling is still the same. So that's also something that we are analyzing at the moment, making sure that, okay, it will continue the same direction. Now, what is also interesting is to see the distribution that we have between the standard and the custom pack. Our thought was that basically in the past we were around, let's say, 80 to 20% in 80% were custom and 20 were standard. That was the estimation that we had. But we thought that because we had less small customers, it will balance a little bit and we'll get to a 50-50. Now what we realized is that most of our customers are really interested by the Studio app. They really see the value of everything that we bring in the custom packet. That's why we keep the same logic where basically we have 77% of our customers that are using the custom one, with access on the multi-company, on the API, on Studio especially as well. And so all that brings also a lot of value to the value proposition that we have proposed. Now, obviously, that's just about the old pricing and everything that's changed for the past months. But I know that a lot of the thing that are always a big question is the indirect direct approach, and how do we deal with that today? Basically, we have done the analysis. In terms of logos, we still have the same distribution, meaning that pretty much 51% of our customers are coming from the indirect, while 49% are coming from direct. Now, it's also something that was a bit surprising, because with the amount of customers that we sold, really small customers, we thought that maybe it will be a bit more direct as well, and it's a good thing. We see that we still have this balance. Now, obviously, logo is one thing, but billing is something a bit different. And that's what the distribution is in terms of billing. I think that the region are extremely important as well, simply because of the maturity of every region. If you look at the Americas and MENA, they're pretty much in the same situation, around 35% indirect, 64 to 65% direct. And that comes also simply because the partner network is maybe less mature than the ones that we have in Europe, for instance. Now, we see that it's accelerating a lot, especially since we have launched as well the offices in Dubai, for instance. We have also now extra offices in the US. And the goal is for sure to invest massively in that network, because we know that that's always the way to industrialize the implementation as well, and to grow basically faster. That's extremely important. For the APAC region, what we believe is it's a bit different, simply that the market is a bit more complex as well. You have large economies, you have countries like Philippines, Vietnam, where basically if you're not local, if you don't have the knowledge, it's quite difficult to really penetrate those markets. And that's why today we see that the distribution between the direct and indirect is way higher on the indirect side. And last but not least, you have the European part, Europe and Africa. And there we know that that's where we come from, right? We've been born and raised in Europe. That's the old market, and that's also where most of our partners have been growing quite massively. Thanks to that, we see that the distribution is 55% indirect and 45% direct. And it will come later in the presentation, but I think that that's also something that we're going to increase massively in the coming years with, for instance, the MMC approach. Now, obviously, it's also interesting to see at the top countries that we have in billing and how it evolves in the years. So that's between January and October, so obviously there are some more to come. But what we see is still United States, still the biggest market, obviously. Second is Belgium and France. The top three is still the same than last year, I would say. Now we have a newcomer actually in top 4, which is Saudi Arabia. And that's thanks really to the good job of the Dubai region in general that really pushed a lot. That specific region, we see that it's booming. There are a lot of initiatives in that region, and it will keep on growing. Then you have obviously the Mexican office as well that helps a lot. There's a massive community there as well that is actually bringing a lot of value. Now for the rest, I'm not going to go through all the different countries, but what we see as well is that we have also decided to open some more countries with local offices as well. So we expect to see an effect as well, because whenever we open a local office in a new country, we see that it has an effect on the global ecosystem because of the marketing, because of the product evolution as well, localization, for instance, because simply as well we have people that are knowledgeable on the specificity of the market as well, and all that together will bring also extra value to the global ecosystem. Now, I talked already a lot about the partners. We got to the point today where we have 5,600 partners with a nice distribution, I believe. If you look at the map, you see that we're really pretty much everywhere. Obviously, with, as I said, still a different level of maturity. But the good part is that a lot of our partners, existing partners that are located in one geographic, will actually also expand in extra geographic. That will help for sure the global ecosystem to grow even faster and to continue as well to bring value to the different customers that we have. Today, what we know and what we see is that we don't have enough resource compared to the demand. We still have countries where we cannot handle all the leads. We still see that partners are booked for a couple of months and they're not able to take extra projects. And so that's something as well that we need to keep on pushing. Now, the good thing is when you look at the partner funnel, we see also an evolution. We used to have a weird partner funnel where basically we had sometimes more gold partners than silver and more, and I mean, basically was pretty close to equal. But now we see that this funnel is now a bit more designed in a good way, and it will still evolve because we know that from April, we also have some new KPIs that will actually apply, and so it will change again. Again, my message is not to say that we don't want to have more gold partners, but we want to make sure that the distribution is the correct one. And for that, we'll keep on investing as well on the support, on the services that we provide to all our partners to make sure that they can be the best as possible, right? Now, again, our goal is not to have only gold partners. The distribution is extremely important. Okay, so that was a bit about everything that that will touch the old pricing, the evolution of the company. But I think that Odoo 17 has also a lot of things to bring, and that will help us a lot. You've seen the presentation, the keynote presentation. The impact will be there for sure. And now there are extra things that will come. You have seen it, the UX. I believe that it's something that is extremely important. We are lucky because we use it already since a couple of weeks, months, I think. And for sure, it's a game changer. I cannot go to the old version anymore. But that's not it. We also, and that's a bit a spoiler alert, but anyways, we will also align the new brand identity with this new version. And that means that we'll tomorrow also launch the new website, where basically we'll align completely the visibility and the design with what we have in the solution. I think it's extremely important as well, because for years we've been willing to change our website, but it's a difficult one. If you do it, you have to do it for real. You need to spend a lot of time finding the right branding as well. And here I believe that we are able to, again, be disruptive and have the clear vision on what Odoo is in terms of product, but also as a company. Now, there's another topic that you probably have seen also all over the LinkedIn, for instance. I've seen a lot of messages about it already. More and more, what we see on the industry is that we are facing competitors that are actually verticalized solutions. And sometimes when you look at Odoo, people are a bit lost because they see a lot of different applications. And so that's why we always ask ourselves, should we go for a vertical solution? Should we go and verticalize every single industry? That's why we have decided to introduce that from V17. And that's actually something that is already available on apps.odoo.com. You can see that partners have already done it on different topics, right? But if you look at the really top of the website, you have the industry. Now, what will change is the fact that now we'll also make it available for Odoo Online, meaning that we'll provide a lot of data modules that will be straight away available in Odoo Online, where basically you can have different kind of company. You can see here the ones that are already there, air salon, lawyers, a software retailer, and the goal is to have really a lot of them, to make sure that people can start their journey at Odoo and be able to straight away have a verticalized solution with all the applications that are supposed to be there, but also with a vision on the long term, because those are data modules, so it's not development, it's really part of the core of the SaaS solution. And basically, you will find that information straight in the app of the SaaS. So you see there, you have all the normal apps with all the categories like sales, like HR, etc., but also with the different industry. One click on it, it will be installed, and straight away after, you have access to the full workflow that has been designed in the knowledge application, with everything that is actually important to know about that specific aspect. So it's really important, because then people will realize what value can Odoo bring and how easy it is to start your own company as a restaurant, as a consulting company, or whatever. So that's really the goal, to make it simple. It's really the getting started that is sometimes complex. We still see companies that are coming to us and saying, I don't know what application to actually install. I didn't know that Odoo could do that. So that's the first step. Second is really the user experience as well. I think that helping people to basically have a flow will change the way they perceive as well the solution, and that's key. Again, I think that we need also to sometimes compete with the specialized software in the construction area, for instance, or in any kind of industry. I think it will help us in the global competitor aspect. It's also a way to avoid development in a way. It doesn't mean that we cannot have extra development on top, but it will help, because thanks to that, we'll be able to keep the solution as standard as possible, and we'll avoid as well to have situations where people think that they need development to have something that is quite basic in the solution. Yet, it doesn't mean that we cannot still customize with Studio or anything. You can still really adapt the solution as you want, but it's the easy way. And last but not least, it's a data module, so it means that there's no impact on the upgrade neither. So that's something as well that will definitely change the logic. So obviously, that's really for the product part. Now, there are still other things that will also impact 2024. It's not major, don't worry. It's not like last year where we switched the pricing. But still, there are small things that we will do and that will for sure have an impact. So last year I said, okay, we changed a bit our business model. We used to say we have like up countries and we'll not ever open new ones. We've decided in the past to open quite some offices, again, with the vision, the long-term vision, the vision on the mid-market and corporate as well, where basically we want to have knowledgeable people in every single market. That way we can address those specific customers. And we see that it goes quite well. Now, obviously, it's just the beginning. Don't forget that for an office, for a country to be managed, it takes time. The goal is always to bring all the different teams as well that are from Odoo locally. And basically, that's where we stand today in terms of office maturity. We still have offices that are not managing the full cycle, and that's what we are currently doing. The reason why I share that as well is because I have a lot of questions regarding what's the next office you're going to open, do you have any plans, etc. At the moment, we first want to make sure that we cover basically everything from all the offices before going for a next one. Doesn't mean that we will never open anything else before, but it means that we need really to stabilize as well, because it takes energy as well, and we need to make sure that we are using our resource at the full potential. In terms of market share, we see as well that we're evolving in the right direction. We see that the markets that are growing are obviously the one that we know. It's not a surprise, I would say. Maybe Saudi Arabia is growing even faster than we thought. But for the rest, we still see that we're basically at the very beginning of the Odoo story. Even though in some geographic, we see that we could get up to 4% of the market share, globally speaking, we're still not at 1%. And that's basically our main goal, to keep on growing. And that's extremely important. We've been sharing that for a while, but we also see that in the future, we'll have a kind of commoditization of the business tools. And if we want to survive to that, we need to keep on growing. That's why it's so vital for us as a company. And obviously, it means that for the mature offices as well, we'll keep on gaining market shares. And I believe that that's extremely important for markets that we are in since years, but we are still small. I'm thinking of in Europe, obviously, like countries like France, like Belgium, etc., but also in the US or in the MENA region, we still have plenty of work to do. So we need to continue to focus on that and make sure that we get to the next level. We also need to focus on the new markets. There are still a lot of countries, and you have seen it on the top 20, that should be way higher in the list. I'm thinking of countries like UK, for instance, or others in other geographic, but that's something that we want to do as well. Make sure that we also put a lot of resource on developing those new markets. We talked also about countries like Poland, etc. So new geographic that will also bring a lot of growth to the company. Obviously, that goes together with growing the partner network. As I said, we see that we're still growing at a fast pace as a company, and yet it's difficult to keep track on that and to make sure that, okay, partners are following that. And so that's something that we want to keep on doing by providing extra services, making sure that we can help in terms of support. So basically, making sure that we get to the next level together with our existing partners and future partners as well. We see more and more, I would say, M&A in the partner network. We see that a lot of partners are actually buying and basically growing through acquisition. I think that's something that is it's actually going even faster than before, and I expect to see that even more in the coming months, simply because we see that there are also some VC that are in the loop of the network. So that's something that for sure is important, cash, but also the support that we can provide to those people. Then we will keep on developing also the center of expertise. I'm thinking of, for instance, the Indian office, where we also provide a lot of services to partners in general, but to other offices as well. So that's something that we want to keep on pushing to make sure that we can really benefit from the best resource anywhere we go. And then one point is extremely important, and I put it as a whole because I think it's extremely important, is the partner collaboration. And I think that specific aspect is extremely important, because for years we've been growing the partners in general, but sometimes we're not able to collaborate on deals. The plan when we launched the mid-market and corporate team was really to learn by yourself how to do things, but to provide that information later on to partners. Obviously, to do that, it takes time. We had to learn it sometimes the hard way as well, to be able really to provide the right information to our partners and to collaborate. Now that we have launched that initiative 5 years ago, we are able to collaborate with our partners even more. And the first idea was really to start that collaboration earlier, but we knew that it was a bit too early. Now we have great cases where basically we collaborate with partners on large deals, and that brings a lot of value. I think that that's something that will definitely be a game changer for the global ecosystem again. It's the beginning, because we only had few cases, but those few cases are extremely important, and we can really see the value that it brings for the partner, for the customer, and for ourselves as well as a company. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that we will be able to grow even faster with the network and attract as well the bigger players that are extremely important to continue that specific growth. And by the way, there's a specific talk about that. It's tomorrow at 10:30, where basically the key account will actually share what we did on some cases like Bridgestone, for instance, or with Colruyt. So I think that those cases, if you're interested, it's tomorrow at 10:30 in the hall 7E. And that collaboration is also important simply because we can help to get those specific deals. And our goal is not to stay in the loop forever. Our goal is just to back up our partners, to show them that we're strong together, and later on, when the trust is there and when they are in control of the deal, just to kind of stay there if necessary, but in second line, and to let you drive completely the logic. That's a way basically to industrialize the mid-market and corporate, and that's the same logic than what we did in the direct sales approach. It's really to show how to do things and then to let it go on the second step. And that's exactly what I say, why I say that in the market share that we have today between direct and indirect, I expect to see the indirect to grow way faster than it is today, also because of that kind of specific deals. That's some examples of deals that we have done lately. It could be direct, indirect, doesn't matter, but I think that that's also a couple of names that could be interested, and we can realize that, okay, we are not nowhere, we really grew fast on that, and we are now really a concrete actor on that specific market. It's important to share. And for me, this specific sales strategy that we have this year is not as strong as last year, because obviously it was the new pricing, was a lot of different things that were moving. This year it's more about making sure that we can consolidate everything that we have done and making sure that we can collaborate the best way possible with the global ecosystem. So obviously it will continue in the same direction, and I hope that you will be also enjoying the new product and as well this specific strategy. If you have any question, please feel free. Yeah, the microphone is there. There's a question there. Oh, you can ask your question. I will repeat the question. Yeah. So the question is, we used to invoice per app and per user, and is it something that we're gonna keep forever to just have like a bundle per user, or will it change in the future? No, the goal is really to keep that, because the reason why we have changed as well the pricing was to give the potential to our customer to add any app at any time. And even though the cost of the application was really low, it was still a kind of barrier for them to actually push on the button, install. So no, the goal is to keep that as it is. It's not a lifetime promise, but at least that's the strategy we have on now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know, you have to take it on large timing. We've been there for 15 years, and it's true, when we started with the user only. Now the maturity of the software is also growing. The reason why we went from user to app and user was also because we wanted to limit a bit the scope for the user and to go step by step. Now that the software is also way more mature, it's way easier to let them use the full suite of application at once. And so indeed, it's a switch and it's a kind of comeback. But I think that in a global scale of 15 years, not that confusing to change one time or another. Mm-hmm. Basically, it has been so the question is, you have to share information about your customer. It has been the case forever. So it's just that you were not applying it, maybe. Yeah. But it's the case. As the editor, we have to have the direct contact as well, simply because the customer needs also to be able to contact us if necessary, and if we could maybe help.
If the customer don't allow her to do that, GDPR compliant, data protection, privacy, how can we do?
But that's not that's not a problem of GDPR. Having the direct contact between the editor and the customer cannot be a GDPR problem. GDPR is not about the privacy of your customer. It's about the data that you have. So that's not linked.
So okay, so is it also a topic? Maybe we can take it offline.
But don't mix everything. Yeah. GDPR has nothing to do with the direct contact that we could have with the customer.
We are monitoring now some of movement from the partnership strategy, and we don't know is it a strategy or is it a local thing or the regional direction. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. My question is about how do you differentiate your strategy across geographies, small countries, and in further continents like in Africa, where I come from. You cannot apply the same strategy for all the partners there. When you're a small partner there, and there was a beginning partner, you are creating awareness about Odoo. You're creating the value for Odoo, and then you find yourselves like you're 5, 10 viewers competing in a very small market. It will just end up killing them when the awareness, when the efforts that can be done. Is there any strategy to collaborate more when in geographies where Odoo is less known?
I mean, Obviously, we want to collaborate the best we can in the 175 countries that we're covering. Now, obviously, it's not perfect in every single geography, but that's why we also opened an office in Africa to be more local and to understand what are the needs as well. From the Kenyan office, we're trying to really cover those questions. Indeed, there are some specificity that we don't know, and that's why we will also start managing the African market for the partners from Africa in a couple of months, but it takes time to get there. And from there, obviously, we'll have some specific people that will also know your market and be able to also help you on the long term. But yes, indeed, it's something that we plan, but it's the long-term vision.
Thank you. So we are a partner based in Belgium, and we have awesome contact with Odoo, which is really great. Though often we find ourselves in a situation where we don't have a clear tagline as how to distinguish in between you should go to a partner or you should go to Odoo, because now you're doing MMC, so you're doing developments, we're doing developments as well. Wouldn't it be great to have a new strategy, really like a clear cut line in between, this is a job for a partner and this is a job for Odoo eventually, or both? Because sometimes we say something, then the client goes to you and you say something else. And I mean, we have a great partnership, but I think it would be just easier for both of us to have a clear line on that.
Basically, the way we manage it, it's not perfect because you cannot have a perfect strategy, right? The way we manage it is we try to cut a bit by size, saying, okay, that's for direct, that's for indirect. And the reason why we did that is also historical, simply because a long time ago, for partners, it was extremely difficult to do an implementation for something like 5,000 euro, right? And so that's why we said, okay, from, let's say, a certain amount, it will be automatically for more than 50 users, it will be for the partners. Now, it happens that, partners are coming, customers are coming to us as well, asking questions, and that's something that we like in a way, because we also want to make sure that we keep control of the market. And so thanks to that, we're able to challenge it as well, and they can decide. At the end of the day, the customer can decide whether I want to go for a full implementation with a lot of specific in a way, or I want to go for a more standard one. And then they decide whether they want to work with the editor or not. And in a lot of cases, they choose to go with the partner because the partner is local, they come next to them, and the methodology is different as well. So I know that it would be more comfortable for partners in general. They would say, no, we don't do it. But the logic behind is more to give the choice to the customer to basically go with the one they feel comfortable with. And it goes in both directions. I think that we have a lot of customers that are starting and talking to the direct sales or MMC and end up working as a partner. And it's fine. That's basically the logic. I think that everyone benefits from that.
Here.
Hi.
Yes. So you explain us that we have 64% direct on the US market, the rest for indirect. My question is, what is your vision? What you would like it to be in 5 years between direct and indirect?
But the reality is that I believe that if we want to keep growing at a fast pace, we need the indirect to grow massively, especially in the US. It's Captiva, yeah, okay. And so I think that in the US especially, that we are not as known as we could, basically. Competition is massive as well. So I believe that we need more partners and quality partners. That way we can really make sure that we keep on growing. So I don't have like the perfect number, but I think that for sure it should be at minimum 60% indirect in the coming years, and could even grow higher than that later on.
Hi.
Yeah.
When you talk about collaboration, what exactly means? In terms of business itself, are you collaborating in a risk business or in a specific customer business?
No, so the way we collaborate is either way, we have a customer knocking on the door at Odoo. When I say collaboration, it's only on large customers, right? It's mid-market and corporates. The way we do is most of the time either we have a customer knocking on the door and we know that we have some partners that are specialists in a specific industry, maybe they are too small to handle the full project. So we go together with our MMC team in terms of sales, first of all, and second, in terms of delivery as well. We have most of the time a project director that will help on the project, and step by step, you remember the curve that I showed here? you see that when we start, both are basically quite equal in the design, in the implementation. You see that Odoo will, the impact of Odoo will decrease, and in the development, etc., it will go even lower. So it's really a win-win situation where basically we put both effort in terms of pre-sales together to make sure that you guys are able to win the deal in front of the customer, and that they're also comfortable to go with the partner in some cases.
Thank you. Good morning. First of all, my compliments for your presentation. Thank you. A question regarding the pricing. I think a lot of SaaS companies these days are pricing based on value. Could you elaborate a little bit more why you believe users are the best way to price?
So first of all, what you need to understand is that if you look at the SaaS companies in general in the software industry, most of them are actually using the user base. You can take Salesforce, you can take Pipedrive, you can take whoever basically is focused on the user. And so what we did is simply having two levels of value, which is the standard and then the custom, basically based on extra features. And that's kind of a market practice. And so I think that it makes sense simply because the more user you have, the best return you have as well, obviously. So that's why as well we wanted to decrease the price for small companies, because obviously if you are one-man company, you only need invoicing. It's not the same than having a company of 10 people doing manufacturing. What you're going to get from the software will be even bigger. So that's simply the logic that we took to design that specific pricing. Still, there's this value by package, but indeed, the rest is mainly on the user base.
You talked about the conflict between MMC and direct. But what we are seeing in the US is between direct and partners, right? And we see sometimes projects being sold to customers which are not a good fit for direct. And then they come to us after the fact, right? How do you address that?
I mean, we always try to address that, right? To make sure that the customer journey is the right one. Now, we cannot always avoid it because you know that when you do the qualification, when you have the full information, you don't always have the full picture, and new requirements are coming. And at the end of the day, I think for sure it would be better if the customer journey was straight away the correct one. But at the end of the day, when you end up having the customer, I think that, okay, it's still a good practice. So I think we cannot really avoid that. We retry every day to make a sensibilization through our salespeople to make sure that when it's not really designed for the direct approach, they should straight give it to partners. But again, I think that controlling that, it's not 100% possible. So we'll try our best, and we'll for sure keep on working on it to improve the situation.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. I'm one of your customers from Saudi Arabia. I have actually two queries for you. One is, how do you tackle the risk to hit on your brand? So for example, we tried one of your partners, and then after some time, we came to know that they were not able to deliver what we were thinking. So how do you have any plan to drop them off from your official portal, that if they did not, deliver the expectations of a user? The second thing is, as when you do have a success manager, why does keep changing after 1 month? I have another success manager.
I will answer to the second one first. The Dubai office has gone from 0 to 400 people in less than 4 years. Obviously, it means that sometimes you have a lot of new people that are joining, and that's why you have it, that's for sure. Now, for the partners, yes, we have a lot of KPIs to follow them up. Now, again, I think that it's not always, we cannot just blame partners in some cases, it's really a case-per-case situation. We know that implementing a software is never easy. You can have some fail, but obviously when we see that a partner is not performing, then yes, they will be downgraded, and they will be also sometimes not visible on the website anymore when we see that on the long term it doesn't work. Now, let's say that a partner has like 10 projects and one was maybe not successful. You cannot just take them away from the website. So it's really a matter of KPIs and making sure that, okay, we provide the best support as well to partners. That way they can keep on evolving and make sure that it's not the case anymore.
So I think you said that you cannot drop your partners from your website, but
no. I said we can. I said we can, and we do. When we have partners that are not performing and that are tricking the system or whatever, then we'll get rid of those partners. But it's not automatic. It's not automatic. It's not because we have a customer saying, "Yeah, I'm not happy about that partner," that we get rid of the partner. That's not logical.
Definitely, but because you know why we end up with hiring 1, 2, or 3 in-house software developers to do our expectations. So that's why I'm saying that we were trying a lot to fix our issues because we were having so much customizations. So that's why we end up with hiring. Okay, let's go for the freelancer, hire a functional support and developer support. And then last time we come up with, okay, let's go direct to from indirect to direct to Odoo support. And then again, after one success manager, the success manager gets changed and we get another one. Okay, you need to have this one. So what are the strategies that you have for the upcoming years to tackle this issue?
But growing in office it takes time. So again, our goal is not to change customer managers. We want for sure to be as, let's say, stable with our people. It happens, and I'm sorry it happens to you. I think that the goal for us is when you are unhappy about the relationship that you have with your partner, our goal is to get in contact and to make sure that we can help with that. And that's exactly what I said to this gentleman as well. It's the goal to be able to be the three-party, triangle, where that way we can also take action. So maybe we can discuss your case afterwards because it can be interesting as well.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
You mentioned about the vertical solution by industries. This is just this, or is a new strategy to focus on vertical for industries and solution by industry?
No, I think clearly the goal is to have all those different industries and to be able to answer to our customers straight with a standard solution. Does it mean that it will manage all the needs of the industry? Maybe not, but it's a start. That way it will be able to really help customers and partners as well to go even faster and to be visible. Because what we believe is that today, too many times people are really lost. They come that, yeah, but you guys are not managing that. And actually we do. It's just that we are generic, and so they don't see Odoo as a vertical solution for consulting business or manufacturing business. And that's what we want to do.
Hi, I'm a partner here in Belgium. We have our foot in the door at a couple of large companies or companies with a lot of potential users, but currently only the accounting department uses Odoo. We're trying to upsell them into other apps. Most likely they are ready to sign for the HR apps, but currently there's the HR offering and then the offering for all the apps. So there's no concept of a light user when you have both HR apps and other apps. Is there any way is it in your, are you thinking about offering something like a light user or something?
Just for the HR part?
For the HR part, yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of a large amount of users, and I think that's really the important topic. The HR offering is there to answer to that specific question, but again, we want to be strict with that as well because we don't want to abuse the system neither. So basically, yes, you could do it, having like accounting and HR users as well at the same time, but again, it has to be on volume users, so 100 plus users in general.
Okay, we as a partner, the last 4 or 5 years has been saving projects to be dropped. Most of them from Odoo itself or even from other partners. That made us fall from gold partner to silver partner because there is no KPI that is measuring that. Is there any change in the KPI for the partners?
No, we do not plan to change the KPIs simply because we did I think like 7 months ago. And the strategy of the KPI is to really manage all the different topics. First of all, you have the retention. So you know that you have a retention that you need to achieve, keeping your customer for a long period. And so it has to be 90%. That's one of the KPI. The second one is the certification. And the other one is the amount of users that you're going to sell. And obviously, the reality that we face today is that we need to grow as a company, as an ecosystem, and that's why we're also pushing our partners to grow. And we want to make sure that the partners that are also in the gold status are the ones that are growing the most in terms of resource, internal resource as well, in terms of size, because that's what we need for the future, to make sure that you guys are able to manage existing customers, but also the future ones. And so that's why we keep the same metrics at the moment.
Hi, I'm from a partner in Uruguay, and we have offices in Argentina and Paraguay. And we have a great relationship with our account manager in San Francisco. What are the mechanisms for Odoo to have a big picture about a country or a region, and how can we get more information about your view on the region or country? Thank you.
So today we still work through hub offices, right? So you have San Francisco managing your region. You said Paraguay. Okay, and Argentina, okay. Yeah, so obviously the Latin American market, it's a massive market. I think that today, even with the office that we have in Mexico, we're not able to manage all the business from Mexico. So it takes time as well, and that's why we're still managing part of the Latin market from San Francisco. So the logic that we're having is simply to go market per market. Now we just have actually moved the Chilean market, and I think it's the Colombian market. I don't know if Mexico is here. It's Colombia and Chile, right? Both are now managed by the Mexican office, and for the rest, we'll keep on moving in that direction. And potentially, in the future, we'll also open new markets and new offices locally in LATAM. But again, it's a matter of timing. It's directly with the account managers that you have as well. That's the best way. And but maybe we can talk about it as well after, and we can introduce you as well to the local directors.
Hello. I just had a question. Is there a specific sales strategy for services such as predictive analysis or machine learning for SMEs? Like, I know BI tools already exist. However, you need to understand how to use them so that they're useful. And some companies maybe don't have that insight. Is there an idea behind that Odoo might give this insight directly to the consumers?
At the moment, there's nothing special that we put in place for that specific logic. Now, we try obviously to make sure that we have the global picture and that we can really help the small players with more and more insight from the best practice that we have as well on the industry in general. So we try to push that directly in the process that we put in place in the system, but also with the different verticalization that we do, etc. But nothing more at this stage. I think there's an...
Hi, I'm from Portugal, a Portuguese partner. In Portuguese market, we're facing two main constraints, and I want to understand what's Odoo strategy for that. We are focused mainly on mid-market and corporate market with Odoo, and in these markets, we're facing two constraints. One is the network of the partners are classified only by the number of sales, not about their competence. And what we see in the market is big customers choosing wrong partners, and after that kills the brand of Odoo and don't allow us to save. In all big tech companies, the partners are classified not only by the sales, but as their competence, as a solution partner, for instance. There's any strategy in this case? It's one of my questions. The second one is regarding the localizations. It's very hard to approach the mid-market and corporate market without Odoo localization certified. We try to do our best to, of course, we have our own localization certified, but it's hard to explain to a customer when we are better than Navision, SAP, Oracle, why we don't have. It's a position, the position of the position in the market. It's not correct. So, what's your strategy for these two constraints we're facing daily?
So, first of all, first of all, the question of I think like the type of partners. We know we try to always make sure that the right customer goes through the right partner. Not always possible, but that's why we have also changed again the KPIs in terms of certification as well, to make sure that the people are certified and are knowledgeable on those. And I think that on that specific topic, we also train our account managers to make sure that we direct directly the right customer to the right partners. It's a matter of marketing of our partners to make sure that they're visible on the market with the right kind of sticker on it. Is it MMC? Is it small customers? Mm-hmm. That's true, the account managers, that we always get in contact with the customer as well, where basically we can also share whether it's the right partner for the business or not. Now, the reality is, yes, indeed, we want our partners to grow as well. So that's what I said earlier as well. We have also those KPIs, and we want to make sure that even though you're focusing on mid-markets, you're still able to grow on the side and make sure that you become bigger in terms of size. Because the reality is that the gold partners that we have today, they have no issue at all to get to the level, simply because the amount of the user that they sell is way bigger than that. And so that's the reality. At the end of the day, we don't plan to have only gold partners. The goal is you could be focusing on mid-market and being ready partners. That could be perfect as well, for us at least. So it's just a mindset as well to say whether I want to be a growing company and keep on pushing the visibility, or I'm doing my business and I'm happy to be ready and to make sure that I will manage a couple of users per year. That's fine to us as well. Mm-hmm.
Commercial activity is when we show to a customer a quotation to implementation. We have this price, and our competitors, because they don't have know-how enough for some sectors, we are very focused in production, in industry, engineering and construction. They are very complex. We consume a lot of hours, and the quotations is very different. Mm-hmm. And in this case, we are talking only in all gold partners, and there's nobody who can say to the customer, this guy's is expertise on this sector, this guy's is expertise on this sector. Because if I will talk with a Odoo Gold partner, who are mainly approached to e-commerce or CRM, and talking with a partner like us, specialized in MRP, inventory, project management, and so on, you know for sure the quotation is not the same, you know. And in this case, as a customer, we have two gold partners who you will decide. You will decide for the guy who will kill the customer, will kill the brand.
Yeah, I mean, we plan to do something it's not for tomorrow, but we plan to do something on the website as well, in terms of recognition on the expertise of every partner. That way, customer can look at, okay, what is the expertise of every partner, and based on that, we decide whether I go with that one or that one. So that's something that we plan, but it's not ready for now. It will probably be for next year round. I'm sorry, we'll have to stop now, but if you have an extra question, we can continue to talk about it.